Story number 7. Top 2 stories. Story number 7. Is Iran the centerpiece to start another world war? Folks, keep your eye on the world players. You have to ask yourselves with many people trying to prevent war with Iran, Trump is saying that Iran is responsible for this oil tanker being attacked. Iran denies this, but there's actually some footage circulating that's linking Iran to this attack. There's some other connections to what's actually going on the world stage. It seems that some stories have been surfacing that China has been talking to Russia, according to some reports. There's even also, you can see that there's protests in Hong Kong, and news is circulating about how China's economy has been taking a hit because of the trade wars. Putin has said that relationships with the United States is getting worse by the hour. Former UN chief says that the risk of nuclear conflicts are higher than they've ever been before. Chinese yen is at the yen is at its weakest level of over a year. And then there's another story that's surfacing about how South Korea has been sending $8 million in food aid to North Korea. So we have to ask ourselves in story number 7, is are we on the verge of taking a different course here? Are the world players preparing for something totally barbaric, which is war? And this is getting very scary because the United States once again is at the centerpiece of all this. North Korea leaders, brother, they're saying that he was slain. If you don't remember this story that surfaced about Kim Jong-un's brother being killed, they're saying that he was working with the CIA. And the fact that Iran has increased production of enriched uranium, you have to ask yourself, where are we going with the world players? If there's any time for mediators and people who want to be engaged in diplomacy, the time is now, because of the fact that there's a lot of world players plotting on other people's land, plotting on other people's regimes, and they are using barbaric and brutal tactics to gain control, to gain territory, and to try to feed their people. And when you talk about the fall of any civilization, it's always been because of assets, things that people do not have. When people are starving, they need something to live on. They need jobs, and when leaders aren't provided, you see riots, and that's what you see happening. And it's, in fact, is this happening on a global scale? You're the Mediator with me, Brian West, where it's my supreme duty every week to give you the top 8 headlines, developing news stories. If you want to contribute in any way, all you have to do is visit www.method8inc.com, method8inc.com, where you can buy something, click on something, watch something, listen to something.
If you need help, then dial your operator.
Have no fear, fellow citizens.